Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Tales with TR. I'm your host, Terry Ryan Jr. This is episode 198B. And some of you probably noticed that are dedicated listeners put the cart before the horse this week. I had my guest in episode A, and now I'm doing episode B on my own. Well, there's a reason. This will be the fourth time that I'm doing the solo episode. I hope you guys can hear this fine. I had a problem with my old cord. That was, I don't know what it's called, audio box. You know, the fucking, I don't know, adapter. I don't know what you call it. It's a box the mic plugs into, and that kind of, you know, what do you fucking call it? Jesus Christ, I'm in the podcast world and the film world, and a centralized like volume and anyway, whatever it fucking is. And that plugs into the mic, plugs into that plugs into the computer. Anyway, what the fuck? How do I not know what that's called? Anyway, fuck. Right now, my thoughts are just like, I'm livid. This is the fourth fucking time. So you're getting a 20-minute episode here. And I can't possibly answer all the questions that I just answered. I went twice. I did the same podcast, and it was hard to tell. People were asking me, what was your trip like to Chicago? Meeting Connor Bedard with Jared Kiso and Jonathan Diaby. It was Joe Dolo and Andrew Ansonen. You know, of course, Shoresy fan know him as Goody. So it was an awesome trip, man, and I got some great stories. Problem is, I've told three of them twice. The last one was an hour fucking long. I just sat here and piped into this fucking microphone for an hour for no reason. The second one was about as long, and the third one about a half hour. Anyway, I would... There's a problem with the cord. The good people at the Hockey Podcast Network sent me a new cord, and it seemed to work for the Tran Samwith episode, but when I'm solo, I guess it doesn't. I don't know what the problem is. I'm not technologically advanced, but the good people at the Hockey Podcast Network are also sending me a whole new outfit this week. So I hope the original problem was that this mic was kind of cutting in and out. I hope that's fine for this episode. And we're good. So guys, I'm going to make this short and sweet. I just technically want to put one out there for you guys that are listening. And I'll answer some questions here. It's going to be tough to answer the Chicago trip. Questions, again, with such vigor, because, I don't know. I suppose if you're a stand-up comedian or something, you got to go out there 3 or 4 times a day. Sometimes it would be the same thing. Which is now, knowing this is why I respect those guys and girls even more. Because to do it with such commitment, intensity, and vigor when you've done it and done it and done it and done it. I suppose when you have an audience, though, and you're feeding off the audience, it's different. I'm sitting here with 2 cats and a fucking lizard. Feels, you know, when I do this pod, I got no studio or anything, and I don't mind it like that. I got my computer, I got myself. But it often feels like I'm alone talking at the wall. And to realize that tens of thousands of people are hearing this is... It's almost laughable to, you know, it doesn't feel like that's the reality. In any case, you want some fucking answers? And I got your fucking questions. So here we go. It comes from Mary in Saskatoon. Hey, TR, senior looks dumb, but then he comes off as smart. What gives? I just like the wording of that. Well, I don't know if he looks dumb. I think people might assume he's dumb, and dumb isn't the right word. I think he's my dad. If you only knew that he was my dad and he's still alive and still married, and, you know, I might be a bit wild, but I landed here. Like, if you only knew that, you would figure he's not dumb, right? I mean, he's something to be married this long, something to play hockey, come home. And you know, right, anybody that tunes in knows he's a teacher. So that would have meant that he at least, in a teaching degree, you have to know a lot about a little, you know? There's certain things, I don't know, if you're going to go in for a trade, say, I don't fucking know what trade. Let's say you're a plumber or a welder, or, you go to school and you learn that specific set of skills that you need, that we all fucking need, plumbers and welders and whatnot. Just pick two trades. And, you'll go in and I don't know what you got. I'm guessing a 2, 3, 4 year program. And I'm also guessing you're going to learn about that craft, right? To be a teacher, and you're going to learn a lot about that, more than I will ever know. But to be a teacher, at least most teachers, you're likely going to get your BA first, your Bachelor of Arts. What are you going to focus on? I did folklore English. Now, folklore might sound funny, but it crosses over into anthropology, kind of like history. Like anthropology is the study of, not that I'm reading a dictionary, but, social interactions throughout history. Like, how did we get here? It's one thing to find an archaeologist would dig it up, whatever it would be. An archaeologist, say in the stereotypical sandy atmosphere, say in a desert in, I don't know, fucking Egypt, and they're near the pyramids, and they're searching for other things. And I don't know, right now, I know that I forget the city where Alexandria used to be, but I do. But I know that, a lot of, they're finding a lot of, it's tough to dig when you're already got a city going, right? For obvious reasons. It's much easier out in the open wilderness, but or desert or whatever. But anyway, let's just say I'm digging somewhere and I'm looking for tombs or a city or, any relic of the past. My job as an archaeologist would be to dig it up, right? To examine it, to do it almost perfectly. There's ways to do. I mean, I find that fascinates me. How the fuck do they be digging and know exactly, it'd be hard not to break things. And, they must be so fucking fragile all these years later. I guess you could be an archaeologist and dig up something from 10 years ago, but you know what I'm saying? Like in the stereotypical idea of being an archaeologist. So the anthropologist would study whatever was dug up at length. What is is this an archaeologist might dig up the tool, and the anthropologist might say, okay, is this tool because they were burying something, which would show a sign of respect for the dead? Was it a burial sign? Is it maybe it's a ceremony? Maybe this cup is for a ceremony. We dug up a cup. There's none around. Maybe it's religious. Maybe it's in a toast to someone who just died or whatever. And you put all those clues together. And archaeologists do that too. But the anthropologist might say, okay, where's the city center here? How many people lived here? What did they do? Was there trade involved? Right? Okay, who's the trade with? England. Okay, now we found this coin right here, and this comes from London, we know, and this is Persia. So there must have been a connection. Maybe it was trades. That's anthropology, right? And then the more recent we get, say in Newfoundland, it turns into folklore, right? Because, okay, why did these people come over and for hundreds of years live with no electricity on the banks of Newfoundland or anywhere by extension? And have to deal with the fucking crazy weather and and you dealt with it through song and dance and stories and social interaction and friends and family coming together. That's anthropology. Right? And that's very, very closely connected with folklore. In fact, so for those of you that don't know, for me anyway, to get my Bachelor of Arts, and I believe this is the case in most provinces, states, and countries, I needed 20 focused courses. So if my major is folklore and my minor is English, I need 12 folklore and 8 English. Now, the other 20 I need 40 altogether, right? That's often why people go for 4 years to get a BA, because you take five, you take the summer off. Five, summer off. Now, for me, where I went in at 32, I took 6. Like I had my BA done in just over 2 years. But anyway, because you can do that way if you want. If you're 18, I suppose there's no fucking rush, right? And you get student loans and all that, and you meet people, and it's as much to me if you're in your 20s or late teens, probably about with that very thing: social interaction, meeting people, being part of the student community, going, all that stuff. And I can't say I shied away when I was 32, but most people probably wouldn't. I was involved. I went to like varsity games, and I even did like hockey intramurals and stuff. Anyway, so that's why I say I got a folklore degree, English minor, and to be honest, I got a double major, but I won't get into that. I took 4 extra English courses, but you don't need that. So anyway, and then your 20 other courses have to qualify. I can't just go and take any random course. A BA will give you need a couple of sciences. I take chemistry if I want, or I can take physics if I want. I took psychology. That counts as a science. So I got my two science courses. Now I don't have to do all the other stuff. I don't even need a math course, and I suck at math, which is why I didn't take chemistry or physics as well. It's an extension of that. I took biology. I took psychology. Those are the sciences I went after. Then, of course, you get a plethora of, at least at Memorial, it's a big university we have here, 25,000, right? One of the biggest student bodies in Canada, if you can believe it. So you've got that, and now I need, so I'll get given a list each time I go in. Do you want to take geography, say Middle East, because there's not just one geography course. And then you might take history. Do I want to take the French Revolution, or do I want to take the American Civil War? Do I want to take World War II? Do I want to take Julius Caesar and his importance in the Roman times? And when did Rome go from governing democratically to a Roman Empire with a dictator? All that. And you really do learn, right? But that's what it's setting you up for. Your Bachelor of Arts, I know you can go on and, and then you go to grad school, right? So I got mine. I was going to go on and be a teacher or a lawyer. If I was younger, I would have definitely gone for a lawyer. I am intrigued by, and those, right? You get a BA, it can set you up for that. But if you want to trade, like I said, or you want to be there's certain things you focus on. Even if I was going to be, say, a engineer or a chemist or something, I would start like kind of drifting away maybe from folklore and English and concentrate. I might take 1 or 2 courses. Like they try to make you a well-rounded student no matter whatever you do in a university, not a trades college, in a university. That's why all the extra courses. And I got to say, you come out of it, I'm not going to say smarter. I always thought that was an insult. I went to school late, and it used to be people that went to university like, oh, they're smarter. They're smarter. It makes you more well-versed, makes you more knowledgeable, and definitely more cultured. Like, I know I shouldn't say I was never racist, but some of my thoughts might have been, go on, princess. Go on. It's because you're going to step on a wire. I was never, but you put your, you often generalize, and if this guy's black, he must blank. If this person is Asian, they must like chop suey, or silly stuff. I never really thought of it like that, and I know that I always wanted to include and be inclusive. When I was real young, I remember a black guy on the Philadelphia Flyers team chirped me when I was in Quebec. And he said, "I want to be just like you, asshole." I said, "I'll go get the chalk." And I felt really fucking bad about that. Right? I remember feeling, and I remember saying that out loud to my teammates, to like fans that were there. No one really thought it was a big deal. Now, he called me, he used the newfie word, and we take that like the N word, right? But still, I didn't, so what I'm saying is that I would have said I wasn't racist then, but because I didn't want to be. But clearly, if I said those words, was it a cut, or was it just that everything wasn't as politically correct? Because I'm telling you, I know that after the game, I would have shaken his hand and treated him like anybody else. I mean, it's not like I never saw a black person before or anything. Actually, I tell a story in my second book. Bill Riley was fucking unreal. Hockey player. I looked up to him and treated me with respect. But you know what I'm saying? There was just things about, I guess that had nothing to do with it. But I'm just telling you, as a young person, I don't mind admitting all this stuff. Like, I remember playing pro and like George Laraque chirping me. I chirped him. I would never think to go UN word. That felt wrong. But, I definitely, like, say, how am I going to put this without, I'm just trying to be honest with people here. And you get older. Anyway, whatever I thought when I was younger, without giving you examples of how fucking ignorant I was, what I'm saying is that when I went to school and I started to you're forced to work with people from all different cultures, and then you learn about other cultures while you're doing it, right? So then, and let's be honest, playing hockey, you're mostly with white people so like, even if you don't try to be, you're just not learning about other cultures as much, right? Now, the thing about hockey is that you travel. So as I started traveling, especially to places that I love that have heavy, like, I don't know, Colorado Springs. I would go over to Pueblo a lot and watch concerts, and it's heavy Mexican influence, but I embraced it. I never had a problem. I still got friends that are fucking Rico Grima. I talk to him all the time. I got friends that they'd never put on skates before ever from down there that are straight from first generation, right, from Mexico. All good, love it. But I never would have met them if I didn't travel through hockey. And who knows, maybe my judgment would have been a little more ignorant, would have been deterred. But anyway, so after school, I got that. And then when I went to play or when I went to work on a film set, there's all kinds. Then if you're homophobic or you're racist or like you better get over it quick because you're working with a lot of people. And when you work with people, especially when you see a finished product that is that everybody's proud of, and you know that you did it together, then all that shit goes out the window, right? Now, I grew up with a very, very gay Uncle Daryl. Picture my dad, the same person except gay. And he did nothing but provide laughs and was fun, and like he embraced it right off the bat. I shouldn't say right off the bat. He grew up in Grand Falls. That was hard. I know that's why he moved away to Victoria. But I talked to him. He goes by Hudson now. And he's just a great dude. So I never felt homophobic, but I understand how people would if they never came across that. I might have been 6 or 7 or 8 going, "What, Mom? I don't understand." Like, what? She's like, "Well, he kisses boys or whatever," however she explained it. One sec, I can answer the phone.
We know hockey games move fast, but with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you can score faster than anything happening on the ice. This week, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. New customers can bet $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets, only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2024, all rights reserved.
Can't remember exactly where I was, but when you're asking me about, I love how I just made that all about me. But I was trying to explain to people, like, of course he's not dumb if he has a degree, especially in education. Now, here's the kicker. Senior has 4 degrees. He has an education degree. He has a history English degree, and then he has his master's, right? So Senior didn't just take teaching because the hours were great and it reminded him of, you get your summers off like hockey, pretty much same holidays as hockey. You're off earlier, 2 hours earlier than everybody else. For the majority, I shouldn't say everybody, but there are very big perks to being a teacher. But he did it because I'm not even saying he loves teaching. I hear he was a pretty great teacher most of the time, but he just loves knowledge. Like Senior has, God, it's at least 10 to 20 books around, like down by his bed, and he often falls asleep, and he's got like 5 books. Like when I go down, Seniors often fall asleep, and there's multiple books on his bed because he'll take out a chapter, read one, and then he'll read another chapter. He often like goes to quote unquote bed at like 6:30 p.m. and he reads for 4 hours. Okay, this isn't rare. He'll growing up, like I said, like how do we have a music knowledge? Senior would play the albums for me, but then like I said, he used to make me hearing him and I shouldn't make. They suggested strongly that I read or write every night, so it just ended up being like album covers and stuff. Like those of you that don't, I know vinyl's coming back, and I know it might look cool to play the record and sound cool, but to me it was about the liner notes. Like there was pretty much books inside each album, and you could read about the band, and and Senior would be down. I telling you this, like each album, we have thousands of albums, okay? On each one, if I take it out, there's like a lot of the words, because there's lyrics on the albums. There's a lot of them, at least the older ones. There's, explanations. There's, like I said, books. Like even CDs had that, but the fucking vinyl had, because there's so much space, I guess, and room there. They had more. So he's got like all of his books. He keeps most, but he couldn't possibly keep all of them, or we'd have honestly 6 houses full of books, just books. So, but he keeps a lot of them, and whatever ones he keeps down in our library, I'll go down and like there's notes, like he highlights stuff. So he'll read it, and then he'll go back as if he's studying for a test, but he's not. He just wants the knowledge. Okay, so that's where I'm coming from here. So he might be talkative. He might love to have his beers. Again, people don't realize he has them once a week on Friday. And usually he's fucking toasted by beer number 8. But he'll sit there and stay up and like sip on number 9 for 2 hours. And before 12, at some point, he'll go to sleep. But, you see him at Chiclets. We always have to ask Mom, but she'll give him the okay. You guys are going up there. I'm like, come on, Mom. It's the NHL fucking All-Star weekend. We're not going to let him have beers on Saturday night. But he did. And I say that with not tongue in cheek. That's real. He was 7 years old. He was drinking way too much. Came back. Mom kicked him out, and he moved to Toronto. And it was like late summer. I hadn't seen him for like 3 months. And I went up there. I remember, I traveled on my own. How shit's changed. I flew up. It was Halifax, made a connection, and went. I'm dead serious here. I was 7 years old. Traveled on my own. He picked me up at the airport. Mom told me and I think we let the stewardesses know. I don't think it would be allowed now, though. But anyway, I went up, and as soon as I got there, oh, what a shithole, too. He was down like around Yonge Street, somewhere like in downtown, Queen West, King West, around there. And it was fucking, I went in and, the guy can't cook anything. He has no attention span. There's lots of books, but, the no beer, I remember that. And I remember him saying to me, he's like, because his father was an alcoholic. My grandfather, Clem, was a great fucking guy. Restaurant named after him in Grand Falls. Clem's dining room, wore a fucking tux to work every day. Great dude, sick back pomade, like just total, real dark, slick back, like almost like a vampire. Like, I don't mean that in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? Like that 50s pomade, slick back look. And he had dark eyes, whiter complexion. He really reminded me of a vampire in a good way. And a great dude, just loaded every day. A functioning alcoholic, loaded every day. So couldn't drive. Dad bought him a brand new car when he signed for like 10 grand or something, which was a lot back then. And when he came home at Christmas, the car was sold for booze. That's true. And they grew up poor. But Clem was just couldn't control that, but he was a real good person. So then I was like wondering, and I don't know, because Dad was drinking like that when he first came back from pro. But what he says now is like it was an adjustment. Hockey was a bar culture at the time. It's got to be in his blood a little bit, which it's got to be in mine. But like I don't like hangovers. I can go. I didn't drink this weekend, for example. You'll see me at those events, of course. I'll take advantage of that, and of course, I like the feeling of getting drunk and socializing. I fucking hate hangovers. Almost every day, I smoke weed. At some point, I don't go around stoned. In the morning, I'll definitely have CBD, which to those that don't know, it doesn't really get you stoned. It just helps with anxiety. Like if I'm going to write or I'm going to do a podcast or something like that, it's more often CBD. And then at night, usually, I'll go with the like heavy dose of the fucking THC, 25, 30%, get right stoned and play Red Dead or listen to music or whatever. I put aside time at night too to not always reading like that guy, but listening to albums, reading, watching a documentary or whatever. And I usually am whacked out of my head when I do that. But anyway, it's not bad for you. At least science now seems to agree that weed is a healer more than anything. I guess it depends how you use anything, though. If I went out and got toasted and drove the car, it's as bad as anything, isn't it? But anyway, Senior, I remember him saying that. I don't remember much. I remember the apartment because it was just, and I remember Toronto and like him trying to like take me around. He had no idea what to do. He didn't want to drive in a big city, man. He panicked. He can't make an egg. He really can't make an egg. He can't. So you can imagine. Went up there and it was just like shit that you put in the oven or the microwave. Anyway, and he said, I'm going to go back. And he showed up. We flew back together. Mom didn't realize that. And we went to the house that they're still living in now, Park Avenue in Mount Pearl. He got on one knee and he said, Gail, just take me back. And I thought he was going to say, I'll never drink again. Like I thought, and he didn't though. He said, I need to only drink once a week. I couldn't believe I've never heard anybody say that. But he said, look, if I know I'm never going to drink again, it's pretty fucking lousy mentally. And he said, I can do it. I don't know whether I'm an alcoholic or not. I drink a lot. But he's like, I'll only do it Fridays from here on in. And you can kick me out the minute I don't. That's why we ask her. And that was in 1985. And again, outside of like one weekend a year, or maybe two if we go to Chicklets All-Star weekend or Chicklets Cup or something. Even then, he doesn't drink every single night most of the time. But we'll kind of allow him that. But anyway, that's it. So when you see him, most of the general public only sees him in that situation. So I could see how, I guess, he would look absent-minded, maybe careless, irresponsible for sure. And those things are all true. But he's not dumb. He's the furthest thing from dumb. He's often too smart for his own good. Just like he's got a great memory and he reads a lot. So like, yeah, and that comes into it. So he's used his, I guess, mental bias or mental capacity to learn and to absorb knowledge because he likes to do it. So he's maximized that. Like I went back to at the beginning, I don't think people that don't go to university are any less smart. If I gave you a puzzle, solve it, right? That's why I don't know if any of you have done an IQ test, but a lot of them aren't like who was the president of the United States in 1930, right? Because that is acquired knowledge. And although it, I guess, can make you what we would call quote unquote smarter, I don't know if that's the right word. I think you have more knowledge, you've gathered more knowledge, and you definitely have more to work with. But smarter, I don't know. Think of someone that you know that's really not smart. That's really not smart. I don't want to put anybody down, but I don't, that's really not smart. You could give them all the knowledge that Senior has gathered, and I don't think it's going to change much. They probably won't want it in the first place. They're not interested, so they're not going to remember as much. And what they do with that knowledge probably won't benefit anybody, right? But Senior, being a teacher was the absolute best thing, trust me, that he could have done, because he helped a lot of people doing what he wanted to do. You see him talking and stuff, that's not a show. Every fucking day, right? Every day. I won't get into it. We were at a funeral this weekend. Unfortunate situation, but he can't even get a wedding or a funeral, or he didn't mean to be disrespectful, but like he's talking to the priest, like, and starting, oh yeah, where are you from? I used to play in Hamilton, and we're like, Dad, settle the fuck down. Let him go up and do his thing. Right? People coming in, I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing, Joey? Joey, what's it? And I'm like, Jesus Christ. But anyway, that's him. So when he went into school every day, you ask anybody who he was taught, like you ask him a music question or a question about me or hockey, and class was over because he'd just go on. But he knew that, and I remember him teaching. I went into a couple of classes, and when I was in Quesnel, he was substitute teaching. I was 14, and I was fucking mortified. He had to come teach in our school one day. But I remember, so I actually was in a class or two. But I remember him teaching us French, and like, he was aware of his attention span, I think. So, and the lack of attention span that a lot of students would have if they're not interested. So he used to like throw on a Habs game. It was always his favorite team. And you would have to talk in French, commentating on the game. Make it a little bit of fun for the students, right? Lancer frappe, slap shot, mise au jeu, face off. I remember those two just from his fucking class, right? And so he would allow the students to speak about what they were seeing on screen. They just had to speak in French. And he would even allow a little bit of English, just like, at the end of the course, you're going to know a little bit more French. It might be unorthodox, but you're going to know a little bit more. You might even know more about music, sports, history, all of it, just being in one of his French classes. So, Mary, thanks for the question or the statement, whatever it is. But I appreciate that you've been paying attention, and you've noticed that, I guess, to paraphrase, that he's not as dumb as he looks, and that's an offhanded compliment. I guess I'm the one paraphrasing, but anyway, yeah. Now, that's 32 minutes, guys. I'm sorry, I only answered the one question. Happy Easter to everybody. I hope you have a fucking wicked... I guess F-bombs come out. Like I said, I'm not religious, but I really don't want to disrespect the holidays, so I'm likely not going to edit that. Let me start that sentence again. Easter, and by the way, Easter is, just because I'm not religious, Easter is a great time. People get together. Like I've often said, the most of the teachings within most religions, I know mine, Catholic, are very good teachings, and I don't believe that Jesus rose from the dead today, whenever the hell it was. Heck it was, sorry. But I really respect Easter Sunday, people who do believe, going to church, going to the graveyard, visit your loved ones, sing your favorite hymn, tell your favorite Old Testament parable, whatever. It's all good, okay? I'm on here for once in a while, and I get to talk about religion and politics for minutes, and it doesn't really represent every single thing I think, just because I don't believe. There's lots of things I don't believe. Even for you that all are religious, right? Like Ricky Gervais says, for those of you that are religious, like you believe in what? Say I'm Catholic. And he'd ask me, what do you believe in? I'm like, yeah, the Catholic God. He's like, okay, I'm atheist, and you believe in, I believe in one less God than you do, because there's thousands out there, or hundreds, or how many like certified religions. At the top of each religion is a god of some sort, and there's lots. So he says, I believe in one less than you do. And point being, we all have way more in common than religion or politics could ever take us, right? That's the truth. So have a great Easter, everybody. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm sorry I didn't have a more entertaining podcast today, but you did learn a little bit about something, hopefully. Maybe even one or two of you get encouraged to go in and be a teacher or go to school or whatever it would be. Who knows? In any case, I'm going to be back in just a couple of days with more Tales with TR. You're downtown. Here's the bars. First you just been to Newfoundland, just got here. Where am I going to go tonight? I'll tell you where to go if you're downtown St. John's. You go to Trinity, TJ's Pub, Rob Roy, Confusion, Martini Bar, Greensleeves, or Bull and Barrel. You're going to eat? You go to Merchant Tavern, Blue on Water, Wedgwood Cafe. You want to work out? You're going to go to Ryan Power Conditioning, Strength and Balance for the Body and Mind on Rope Walk Lane. You want an oil change? You're going to go to Mr. Lube, 2 locations. Camount Road, Torbay Road, Chris Sparks, Live Laugh Lube. You want some pain relief? PippoPainRelief.com. See what all the fuss is about. True hockey? Take what's yours. Folks, love you guys. Happy Easter. I'll be back in just a few days with more Tales with TR. Catch you on The Rebound.